Well, welcome back to another edition of Sound the Sirens. This is a Kansas recap. We got back on track for sure. Like, Kansas was one of the worst. Like, I thought UNLV would be one of the worst teams I've ever seen. Kansas made a run for their money, to say the least. And it was where we kind of got back to track. It was kind of hard to is Kansas just that bad or?
That's okay. Go ahead.
Is Kansas that bad, or are we just playing way more better? But I don't know.
It's hard to tell. I mean,
it's very hard to tell.
I think we'll know obviously in 2 weeks. But we're pretty bummed out after the Baylor game. But we did not play that bad against Baylor. It's take those couple plays away, and we come away from it with a completely different feeling. So maybe part of it is that we played probably better against Baylor than we give ourselves credit for. I think when we were talking about that game, we were still trying to come down from the disappointment of the expectations because we at 2-2 we weren't where we wanted to be.
Yeah, it was the most heated podcast we've had. It was a lot of complaining. I don't know. It was just doing podcasts after games the way we lost like that. It just.
Well, you wanted to do this as a fan's perspective, and we're fans.
Yeah,
I mean,
we're not journalists. We're not
right, and we're not. We're the soberest podcast you're probably going to hear from an Iowa State one. I mean, so we were. It was legit. I mean, but we were hopefully saying some of the things that people were thinking, but we also were trying to be fair as well. Now, what we said, we were pretty hard on our punting game.
Yeah,
we have a new punter.
Yeah.
The transfer from Navy is the new guy. So, I mean, so that obviously changed. He's not.
But it's easier to we just absolutely obliterate a team. And when we give the punter only 3 or 4 times to go punt, when it doesn't matter, there's zero pressure on him.
It was inbounds and it was longer than 35 yards.
Yeah.
So that's all we're asking.
Yeah. I mean, it's just those pressure, we know we need to give our defense some leeway because we've been shutting them down the whole game, the Baylor game, and just unacceptable play. But this game was kind of why can't people kept saying around my sections why can't we just do this against UNI one time?
Right.
Maybe because
that's a good question. How good will UNI do against Kansas? I think they beat them.
Yeah, I think they beat them pretty handily because the way Kansas's quarterback is fast, but he just lost the ball like a middle schooler.
He looked like Banks against in the Seneca game, just fell out of his hands.
Yeah, it was Steele Jantz had one of those against Texas Tech too. It just falls out of his hands.
Well, he was running and it hit his thigh.
Yeah,
he was holding the ball. He thought he was going to probably make a throw. He wasn't tucking it away.
And we also saw a blocked kick, which. You never
heard the statistics on that? That is crazy.
How
many times we blocked a kick?
Not very often.
First time what did Brent Bloom say? First time we've returned a kick
off a blocked punt or block kick
since the Nebraska game in 2004.
Oh wow, that is ridiculous.
And I think he said in his lifetime there's been 6 blocked field goals.
Is that counting extra points?
It was an insane stat.
Yeah,
I'm stealing what he said.
Yeah, just me and Michael growing up, we were thinking, is that the first one we've ever seen ever?
Yeah,
it's the first one that I remember that's significant at all. But
so it was a game where we hoped that we would get right, and we'll find out. But I think, obviously Brees looks like a different human being than he did a couple weeks ago. Culler's catch in the end zone, I don't care who you're playing, was insane.
And Brock's throw was on the money.
And it was on the money. And so I think, maybe the pressure's off. I think
it's kind of good. It's not good for our fans, but it's good for our team. We're going back to everyone thinks we're washed. We're not. We're what Colin Coward calls Iowa the fake ID of college football. we're the fake permit ID.
Yeah.
And it just, we kind of just absolutely obliterated them what I thought we would do to UNI and hoped against Iowa, but we're not going to get that. And for whatever it is, when the calendar flips to October, we just turn it on. And this game was no.
It helped that we're playing Kansas.
Yeah, that helped. It definitely did.
But Hunter Decker's run was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Silas kid is a ball of energy. He
Yeah,
looks like a bowling ball rolling through. He's not very big, but he is fast.
He is something to be excited about because
and Sanders,
he is fast.
Jarrell Brock. I mean, man, we have a unbelievable group of running backs right now. I mean, and who's the kid that we were just talking about a little while ago? The safety, Fryer. He's a freshman. He's like 6'2".
Is it McDonald? There's McDonald.
No,
there's so many young kids.
Fryler, I think is his name. He had a couple good plays. So
yeah.
I mean, so we also need to talk about. I walked through the tailgating lot, and it looked like the Iowa game. Yeah. There's people everywhere. Mm-hmm. You watch the game. You go to the game, and I'm just in complete disclosure. I went down there for Dad's Day to see my daughter. But the night before, my youngest son had a late varsity game, and I was wiped out. So I did not go to the game. I went home and watched it on TV. But when you watch it on TV, and we are a fan base that was a little deflated after the Baylor game, I guess that's probably an honest thing to say. Yeah. But we have 60,000 people for Kansas. Mm-hmm. Stanford has 15,000 for the number 3 team in the country.
That they beat.
So, our fans are still unbelievably loyal. I mean, and that's what's going to keep us going as far as, national notoriety and all of that.
Why are we shocked? Like, we know this. Like, we went years and years and years where we would lose. No, I'm saying, like, we would lose by, like, one of Paul Rhodes' years was we lost by TCU. They literally kneeled the ball on the 10-yard line. They were killing us that bad.
Right.
But that following year, we sell out the first game, couple games.
But it's October.
I know.
And I've also seen it where we have high expectations and we get to October and the crowd starts falling off because, first of all, we are an agricultural-based fan base. We have a lot of farmers that are busy this time of the year. We got a really good shot of rain last week, so there's a lot of them. I talked to a couple of them, and they were the game that because they just plain can't get in the field. But we also have seen when things have gone south on us in October that our attendance starts to drop a little bit, and I think it's the opposite happening now. I think you're going to see an unbelievable crowd against Oklahoma State, excuse me. And then I think if things keep going the way they do, let's say we go out and beat Kansas State, we beat Oklahoma State. That Texas game in the first week in November
could be the last time Texas comes to town.
And they think they've seen rough crowds before.
Yeah,
this is going to be really – that's the reason that I started buying season tickets again is that I wanted to be at that game. Mm-hmm. And anyway, so I'm hoping, I have a good feeling about the way we're playing. I mean, we didn't have a lot of mistakes. We made it look pretty easy because it was Kansas, but I think I'm hoping the ship is righted. Anytime you can put 59 points on somebody, something's going right.
And when, like, your second string comes in and it doesn't fall off at all, like Decker's is running 50-yard runs and Silas and Sanders, and we got some – our defensive young guys are studs too. And
I think Sean Shaw is still coming back from his injury, so he's going to still continue getting better. He only had one catch Saturday night, and Hutchison's still being Hutchison, but we got Skates a long touchdown. Tariq was getting a little more involved. Even Easton Dean had a catch. So there's not a lot to break down in the game itself. It's just the vibe in general. So I think we're re-engaged. We're heading into the bye week. Let's get everybody right as far as physically, if we have any more dings.
Shout out to Aiden from Wide Right Night Late. He tweeted today, we have the same amount of touchbacks from last year already.
Oh, you're kidding me.
This year.
I didn't see that. Wow.
That is insane.
That is insane.
Like
I agree with Ryan Harklaw said in the pregame that he wishes that we would kick one short just so we could have a live kickoff return and get that corrected. And I was actually wishing we would have kicked one short to make sure that we can cover a kickoff.
Oh, yeah.
And we kicked them all through the end, which is fine. I mean, that's
because if we go games without doing that, and then win becomes a factor, and we actually against Kansas State, you never know. Like we might have a game where we don't kick it out of the end zone just purely on the wind
or the weather. Just to get colder or snow, you can't get good footing. So I agree with Ryan. I wish we would have practiced that once, but.
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean that's neither here nor there. But it was
a
fun game to watch. I mean, it really made Iowa State in a great light on on the 6:00 game on Fox again. So, and that's when we're on against Kansas State now too, right?
6:30, ESPN 2.
ESPN 2, yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't heard a kickoff for Oklahoma State yet, right?
Yeah. As you were saying about like fan attendance, like going to the game, I didn't think the students would show up. It's usually not the regular season ticket holders who've been there for years and years. It's usually like the students lose interest in it was packed.
Yeah, it was
full.
Yeah,
I'm like, this is different. It might be a little like COVID, like the live events that might have a little factor, but our fans, man, you can't beat them because like you can't losing to Iowa the way we did was bone crushing. Like we thought this was the year we were gonna actually come out and beat them, and then we lose the way we did against Baylor is just heartbreaking. And then it's kind of a night game kind of helped us because if it was like an 11 a.m. game, I could see like less students going to it, but they showed up and it was a fun atmosphere. It was over 2 minutes in and it was just a party the rest of the game. And it did rain, but me, Austin, and a couple others did not leave. We stayed the whole game and it was fun. You gotta cherish these games because like as an Iowa State fan, like you never know. Like you look at Kansas, we were that kind of bad not that long ago.
Yeah,
and we got Breece Hall, Brock Purdy, Kohler. I was just watching them. It's like, man, like we complain about like September, but like they'll never play another September.
Yeah, like
we gotta cherish these guys because like you know how like fast things go. Like Monte Morris, George Yang, these are Monte and George playing football. We never thought we'd get these guys, and it kind of just like set in. It's like, man, our fan base is awesome, and it's just fun when we play well and play against Kansas, who
so
shouldn't even be D1.
The student section is engaged because I was standing over across the street from CY Stevens, and at 3:00, there was 3:00 in the afternoon.
Okay,
it wasn't 3 in the morning. And so at 3:00 in the afternoon, the game kicks off not for 3 hours. There's a guy, a college kid, that is so out of it
wasn't Abby, was it?
No, it wasn't my daughter. No.
Okay, good.
So it was some guy had been drinking too much, and he had a buddy on each arm, and he couldn't walk, and he's heading back to the campus at 3:00.
Yeah.
I mean, so Cyclone Larry, we saw him. Did you see him on Twitter?
No.
He said, "Is it sad that it's 9 hours to kick off and I'm 5 beers in?" Right? That was hilarious.
I did see that. That was funny because they didn't have last year's tailgating. Like these probably first students' first time tailgating, and this was the first night game.
Correct.
A lot of kids probably. And
it was also a nice day.
Yourself.
It was also a nice day.
Yeah,
I mean that sure didn't hurt any, but except for the little bit of rain, it spit a little bit, but it was still, for first week in October. It was
also nice, like having low pressure games. Like it's Kansas, like we know what's gonna happen. We haven't really had those like the pumped up Iowa games. Like we have to win this.
And how dedicated, or I was when I was walking through the tailgate, see some Kansas fans. Man,
I know.
You talk about dedication. I almost just wanted to go up and hug them, saying, I feel for you. That's a long drive to watch something like this.
Yeah, shout out to their band because like it was like 7 to 59, and they're still just playing the tunes, man.
Yeah.
When they're playing on offense, I'm like, at some point there's like, all right, this is kind of ridiculous. We gotta stop. But that's a tough bus ride back home.
Oh boy,
and
we've been there.
Yeah, we have, because we lost to Baylor 72-7.
Yeah,
where Michael drove
all the way down there. God, that was crazy.
Yeah. So,
all right, on to bye week.
Yeah, it's gonna be long. It could be a long bye week. Kansas State will be an important game. We had to win at Kansas State. It's been a long time since we won there, and
they gave Oklahoma everything they wanted.
Yeah, like Lincoln Riley finally slayed the dragon of beating Kansas State.
Yeah,
year 4, right? Yeah, around there, and.
Yeah, we got to listen to the Hawk fans complain about not getting game day.
Yeah, that was funny.
Who cares?
That was funny. Yeah,
isn't Fox coming though?
Yeah,
I mean,
very funny how they choose Texas and Oklahoma when
I don't care. I really don't care. I mean,
it has to do with the ESPN factor.
Oh, sure. I mean, it's the SEC thing, but it's just game day is a good feather in our cap, I guess you could say, to when they came to see us, and it didn't work out that well. But at the end of the day,
But like,
how many times do you need
still, we had
I mean-
Corso come to, like, Corso is like the rock of college game day. And growing up, I never thought they barely even mentioned Iowa State, and like
Right.
they come twice. Like that's
Well,
cool. Like that's cool.
Desmond Howard kind of gave us a little bit of a slight when he was talking about Baylor at game day, saying, they said Baylor really hasn't played anybody.
Oh,
That was
really?
what he said.
Yeah.
And so,
Well, like, yeah, those guys, like,
but ESPN fighting for relevancy?
yeah,
I mean, you used to sit down and watch SportsCenter every day.
Yeah.
Every morning before you went to school, you're watching SportsCenter. I don't remember the last time I turned on SportsCenter.
well, I think a lot of it has to do with devices. Like,
No, sure.
We-
Social media and everything else.
when we were little, we roll out of bed, you go to the TV, and now you just roll over the like iPad or iPod and turn on YouTube, and like the relevancy of like news, like casters and like SportsCenter casters, like Stuart Scott was the GOAT.
Yeah.
And like I don't think he would have like Stephen A is kind of like that guy, but like he's more like he feeds attention because like he's trying to make money and all that. But yeah, we're missing like the Stuart Scotts of the world. I guess like Scott Van Pelt, but he does like the late night thing, which
I don't remember last time I watched that.
yeah,
I mean, the only thing I ever see him on is a commercial. I've never seen him. I've never watched his show. I mean, the one sportscaster that I watch with consistency is Keith Murphy.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, I don't watch anybody else.
because he's so good at it.
Yeah, and he's also an Iowa guy. I mean, he's
Been along
a naturalized Iowan, but he's been around all the time. He's a positive guy, but I don't sit and watch any of those guys that used to be on SportsCenter that you could name off all of those guys all the time. They're just not, the relevancy has kind of gone away.
But like with Keith Murphy, you know what you're gonna get. When you turn on SportsCenter, you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Like I don't. It's not the way it used to be.
No.
I mean, I kind of like get off my lawn type of. That's kind of a get my lawn type attitude, but it really is. But yeah, I'm not really what the fix is. It's like because like more we look in, there's more pockets of little media. Like we pay attention to just Iowa State.
Yeah.
We don't really care what the bigger sports are going on, like the MLB. Like we used to sit down and actually watch MLB.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, we just stopped.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. That's nothing to do with Iowa State, but here we are.
But it's a SportsCenter thing. We
Just
used to watch
shows
highlights of SportsCenter of the Red Sox on SportsCenter. We just don't do that.
Just shows you how bad Kansas was that we are now breaking down ESPN
and
because
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball because they were bad. They were really bad, and I feel bad for their families that they could see that and drive to all these games and watch them play. It was very similar to like our basketball team last year. Like, just think you're gonna get killed, but you're gonna go support the team, and which I think we'll be touching more basketball because that's coming around the corner too. And I'm kind of our fanhood started in Hilton Coliseum.
That's right.
I love Jack Trice. I love the peak of it, but it's a hot take. But I do love when we're really good at basketball and you go in and there's something just different about Hilton Coliseum.
Well, you grew up with it, and so did I, and so that's why this is a legacy thing with everything that our family's been through with Hilton, and as many other families have been too. So I mean, vividly. I mean, we can tell this. We can go into basketball some other time, but I mean, we've had so many memories of stuff that has happened at Hilton that's why, and we just haven't had that many memories in football. I mean, we're creating them right now because we're pretty darn good. So,
like, I'm so jealous of these kids that go to elementary school and like brag about like Brees Hall and Brock Purdy, like growing up, like where they don't even remember Iowa State being bad at football.
Yeah,
could you imagine like having that mindset? Like,
they're not. I mean, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I mean,
that's crazy because like, and then like people were born in the Fred era and they don't even remember Iowa State being bad at basketball, and then until
last year.
A guy named Steve came in. But,
Stop.
That's kind of a harsh way.
Well, we got to get moving because I got to go to work tomorrow.
Steve
too.
Prohm has my job now.
Yeah,
he's a podcaster. So
he's gone. He's a nice guy.
Leave
him alone.
He's getting paid a lot of money.
Leave him alone.
Whatever.
It's over.
We can't end it like this.
How are we gonna end it?
Yeah, I got an interview with a former Iowa State player who was one of the best cornerbacks to ever play at Iowa State. That's all I'll say. And a was. I met a couple people on tailgate lots who listen to the podcast, and
So we need to have a contest. You need to do a giveaway on social media or YouTube or something this week.
we jumped ahead, thought they were gonna do like the striped yellow things.
That didn't go over.
That didn't really work out.
So we have plenty of gold shirts if that ever comes up.
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a flop by us, but
That's all right.
yeah. So, yeah.
Shout out to the Harclaws. The Harclaws bought more of them than anybody, I think.
Thank God. All right. Go Cyclones.
Go Cyclones, baby.